Grandma left me a spaceship in her will, and a map to the star she once called home. Beginning. The letter came in a box that smelled faintly of lavender and machine oil. It was my grandmother's handwriting. Angular, precise, the kind of script that looked like it had been carved into stone. She had been gone for 3 weeks. The funeral finished. The morning somewhat dulled into quiet aches. But now this. Herwell had left me something. Inside the box was not money, jewelry, or family heirlooms. Instead, there was a silver key shaped like a tear, a set of yellowed star charts, and a note. For you, Mira, you are old enough to know the truth. I once had another home among the stars. The ship is yours now. The coordinates on these maps will take you there. Don't be afraid. I sat cross-legged on my bedroom floor, staring at the strange assortment. My grandmother, Evelyn Hale, had always been eccentric. She told stories about constellations as if she had met them personally, whispered about moons with seas of liquid fire, and described cities that floated in the clouds. I'd grown up thinking she was just whimsical, a dreamer, but the key in my hand pulsed faintly with light, like a heartbeat, and that was when I realized she hadn't been telling stories. She had been telling the truth. Middle. 1. The hidden hangar. The instructions led me outside of town, to an abandoned barn on a property she had owned for decades. The place looked ordinary from the outside, but when I pressed a silver key against a rusted lock on the floorboards, the wood shimmered and vanished. Beneath it was an elevator shaft glowing faintly blue. I descended, clutching my backpack to my chest, every nerve alive with fear and excitement. The elevator doors opened into a cavernous chamber that stole my breath. There was a spaceship, sleek, silver-white, its hull gleaming under soft artificial lights. Its design was unlike anything I had ever seen. Elegant curves, no visible seams, and a cockpit window like a polished black diamond. The name etched onto the side read, Starlace. I whispered, Grandma. The ship stirred at my voice. Lights bloomed along its surface, and the air thrummed with energy. A ramp extended down, inviting me in. I stepped aboard, trembling. The interior felt alive. Surfaces shifted smoothly to meet my touch, and a low, melodic hum surrounded me, like the ship itself was singing. Then a voice filled the cockpit. Feminine, calm, tinged with warmth. Pilot recognized. Genetic match to Evelyn Hale. Welcome, Mira. I am Starlace. My knees nearly gave out. You knew my grandma? I carried her across galaxies, through wars and wonders. She was my captain. Now you are. The controls lit up with constellations I didn't know, star systems I'd never studied. My grandmother's star maps weren't fanciful drawings. They were flight charts. 2, first flight. The first takeoff was clumsy. My hand shook as I followed the ship's instructions, pressing glowing glyphs and placing my palm against a living control sphere. With a sound like rushing wind, the Starlace rose from the hangar. Panels opened above us, revealing a hidden launch tunnel that cut through earth and stone, until suddenly, the sky tore open and we were above the clouds. The earth spread out beneath me in all its blues and greens. Engage slipstream? Asked the ship. I swallowed hard. Yes. Reality folded. Stars blurred into streams of light. My stomach lurched, and then silence. We were somewhere else. I gasped as I looked out at a nebula shaped like a violet rose, petals of gas swirling around a bright heart of fire. Planets floated like gems in the distance. I had just left Earth, and I couldn't stop smiling. 3. The map to home. The star charts Grandma left were more than a map. They were a diary. Notes in her precise handwriting filled the margins. Avoid patrol routes here. The green moon has edible moss. Met the Clarion ambassador. Kind, but watch his tail flicks. And at the end of the charts was a mark. A circle of 7 stars, drawn with trembling ink, labeled simply, Home. I traced the circle with my finger. My grandmother hadn't just wandered the stars. She had come from them. Starlace, I asked quietly, take me there. The ship hummed, almost like a purr. Course set. Estimated arrival, 3 days. 3 days in space with nothing but the hum of the ship and the echo of my grandmother's presence. I spent hours exploring, learning how food materialized from synthesis panels, how the ship projected holograms of star systems, how our old captain's quarters still held trinkets, a scarf that shimmered like starlight, a book that rewrote its stories every night. I even found a photograph, my grandmother younger, standing in front of the ship with a group of tall, copper-skinned aliens. They all looked like family. I began to wonder, was she fully human? Was I... 4. First contact. On the second day, alarms jolted me awake. Incoming vessel, said Starlace. Unidentified. Armaments charged. The view screen showed a jagged ship cutting across space, black as obsidian, bristling with weaponry. A voice crackled through. Attention, trespasser. You carry Hale's vessel. Power down and prepare to be boarded. My blood went cold. Who are they? The Cyborn, Starlace said grimly. Old enemies. They hunted your grandmother for decades. I had no idea how to fight. My hands hovered uselessly over the glowing controls. Starlace, what do I do? Trust me. The ship moved on its own, weaving through bursts of plasma fire, rolling and twisting with grace I couldn't imagine. The enemy vessel loomed, but Starlace unleashed a flare of energy, blinding their sensors, and in a flash we slipped back into faster than light. When it was over, I slumped in my seat, heart hammering. Grandma, what kind of life did you live? Ending. 1. The Lost Colony. On the third day, we arrived. The circle of 7 stars hung before me, arranged like a crown. Within them, a golden planet turned slowly, oceans glinting. My chest ached with wonder. Elindra, Starlace whispered, your grandmother's world. We descended through sapphire skies onto a continent of silver forests and crystal blue rivers. Towers of stone and light rose in the valleys, alien yet strangely welcoming. At the landing platform, figures waited, tall, copper-skinned beings with eyes like molten gold. One stepped forward, his expression trembling between joy and grief. Mira Hale? He asked, his voice resonant. I nodded, unable to speak. He smiled sadly. You have her eyes. Evelyn was our lost daughter. She swore she would return, but time kept her away, and now she sends you. Tears stung my eyes. My grandmother hadn't abandoned them. She had carried Earth and me in her heart, even as she longed for her first home. 2, a choice. They welcomed me as kin, ushering me into gleaming halls where murals told of wars, exoduses, and peace forged through pain. They spoke of Evelyn Hale, who had left with Starlace to protect them from the Cyborn, sacrificing her years to keep the colony safe. And now I stood in her place. I walked the crystal streets at night, the stars above unfamiliar yet comforting. The people treated me not as a stranger, but as family rediscovered. But my heart tugged both ways. Earth was my home, my mother still mourning Evelyn, my friends living ordinary lives. Yet here, among these people, I felt a pull I couldn't deny. Starlace sensed my conflict. You are not bound to one world, the ship said gently. You are heir to both. Evelyn chose Earth to raise her family, Elindra to protect her people. You may choose freely or choose both. 3. Carrying her legacy. At dawn, I stood atop a high balcony, the golden sun spilling across the horizon. I held the star chart in my hands, Grandma's careful handwriting shimmering in the alien light. I realized then what she had given me. Not just a ship, not just a map. She had given me the universe itself, her unfinished journey. I turned to the copper-skinned man, who had greeted me. I don't know yet where I belong, but I will travel. I will learn. I will carry her legacy. His golden eyes shone. Then you are truly her granddaughter. That night, I sat inside Starlace once more, the ship humming with quiet joy. The stars stretched endlessly ahead. I whispered into the silence, thank you, Grandma, for everything. And with that, I launched into the slipstream, toward a future where Earth and Elindra, family and destiny, were both mine to keep.